Hey guys, Jaden here. So in this tutorial, what I'll be going through with you will be content research. Now this part is really important because a lot of times people just start writing content without doing any kind of research, or they do minimum research and then they just write content. And most of the time it's just going to be a waste of resources or waste of money, waste of time. Okay. Within our agency, what we have found is a lot of times people, when they have a keyword, they immediately go down to creating the topic and then, writing content. And what they find is, either they're spending time on researching or researching on the wrong things, or finding time to, outsource this to somebody, or finding the time to write this content. At the end of the day, what happens is their blog posts or the pages that they create doesn't get any content. Doesn't get any traffic. So you do not want that. This piece of framework that we use, it's basically what we have been doing for all our clients, and it has been working really well. And the reason why is because we highly focus on searcher's intention and mixing that up with how do we, create this piece of content that matches searcher's intent, and at the same time help promote our products or services within that piece of content. So it's a combination of both. And this will be able to help you do that effectively. Now, there's one thing that you always have to pay attention to, which is, the entire process of search engine optimization, it's optimizing, right? And so this process is what we have seen worked based off on what we are, based off on Google, based off on what we are seeing on the search engine results page. And this is not the final form, right? Because it can change depending on whether Google's have any kind of updates coming. But you can use this framework and basically twerk around and see how will that be able to help you guys out. So don't just take this as face value, integrate it and then optimize it along the way, right? Depending on, how Google changes in the future, right? So let's get started. Now, the keywords that I'll be focusing on and using it as examples will be like the Zumba classes, Zumba lessons, Zumba workouts. And the reason why, it's just for relevancy based off on the previous videos that I've done. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to know what kind of media type we should be creating for this content, right? For this keyword. Most of the time, it's going to be very straightforward. Most of the time, it's going to be written content, right? So I'll show you an example. So if your keyword is Zumba classes, and if you go to Google and you type in Zumba classes, you're going to see written content, right? This is a written content, written, and then you see videos, and then you see a map pack here, and then written, right? You want to basically analyze this and come to a conclusion of what media type you should be creating based off on what you're seeing here. And the reason why you're looking, a lot of times you're looking at the first page is because that's where all the answers are, right? So the reason why is because, Google likes these results. That's why they are on the results. They are on the first page, and they like it because users like them. Okay. So you can see this is a written content, it's written, and then you have video. Okay, so majority of it is telling you to create a written content because that's what users want to see, right? They see written, it's written, right? And also there's a video. So if you really want to do well here, from the get-go, the media type you should be creating should be a written content. And if you want to have that edge, you want to have a video within that written content, right? That is the if you want to outdo your competitors for this keyword. Okay, some of the times you're going to see images that's showing up, right? So for example, Zumba classes, let's say infographic. Now this is a straightforward one. When somebody searches for infographic, what do they expect to see? They expect to see graphics, right? And that's why graphics are popping up first. And you can see that even graphics is popping up, it's not occupying a lot of real estate on the first page. Okay, it's written, but the first result is, image. So this tells me that if you want to rank for this keyword, you should be creating an image, infographic, and you should also have it on the written piece of content, right? That satisfy both the user's intention and also allowing you to pick like the best media type that your users want to see. Hopefully that makes sense. And then finally, if somebody is searching, if this keyword becomes yoga classes, follow along, right? Guess what will show up? It's going to be videos, right? Because usually follow alongs, people want to actually see the video and then follow along to the video. And that's why videos are showing up, right? So if you're ranking for this keyword, the first media, the type of media you should be creating should be a video first, okay? And then you can see followed by a lot of written content. But if you want to have if you only have the resources to create one, then you want to focus on creating a video content because this is what users want to see for this particular keyword. So hopefully that allows you to understand what kind of media type you should be creating. A lot of people get this wrong from the get-go. And no matter what they do, they are not able to rank because the keyword that they're trying to go after is dominated by images or videos, right? Majority of the time, 80 to 90% of the time, you're going to see a lot of written content. Okay, so because I would assume unless you are going for a video strategy, then the media type you should be creating will be a lot skewed to video. But most of the time, you're going to see yourself creating a lot of video content. Okay. Okay, so now that you have decided what media type you should be creating, the next thing that we need to decide is what type of page should we be creating for this keyword. Now, I've listed down a few very, very obvious ones here that you see a lot of times. But like I mentioned, on Google, you will not know what you see, right? And this list here, you can basically add in, remove things out based off on how you like it. But this is not the only page types that you will see on Google. Okay, so blog post will be your typical blog post. Blog category, it's basically an archive. Similar with your product page, product category. Landing page, I've splitted this down into like, if it's a local landing page, if it's a services, or if it's a software tool or template, right? And if I don't know what classification is, if it's under and it belongs to some type of landing page, I'll just put it as landing page, right? And then site information is basically, your terms and conditions, privacy policy page, your about page, for example. So this is the current list I have. But like I mentioned, when you go and do research on Google, sometimes you'll not know that page doesn't classify as under any other page type. And then you can just basically create your own. Right? So when we go over to Zumba classes, right, and what we want to do is we basically want to do the same thing for media type, but we want to take a look at what type of page this is. So if I open up 3, right, I'm just going to open up 3. Okay, so this is the first result. This is definitely not a blog post, right? Yeah, this is not the nature of how a blog post is structured. It's more towards kind of like the landing page. A landing page, right? And also, sometimes how you classify things may be different from how I classify things. So as long as the classification, what type of page you'll be creating, it doesn't matter what the classification is, as long as you know the type of page you'll be creating, right? So to me, this kind of looks like a service landing page, right? Because it has all the different types of Zumba classes, and then, search for a class, right? People can find a class. And then the second results page, it's it's kind of the same thing, right? People can pick a class and then they are selling their classes. This is the features of the class. And then the last but not least, so this is a very typical blog post, right? Just by looking at the topic, this is a blog post. 10 best Zumba classes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so this is a blog post. Now, what happens if there's a mixture? You want to always look at the overall SERPs. Okay, so overall, what is it telling me? So there's videos involved, and you can see, find a class, Zumba fitness, right? So majority of them falls under, their services, right? So from what I'm going to do, based off on analyzing this, I will be creating a service type page, right? Because majority of the results are showing me that when people search for this keyword, they're trying to look for a service, right? They want to find a class, right? So that's how you decide whether if it's a if it's a landing page or if it's a product category, right? So in this case, for example, I can put it under as landing page that is services. Or if you want, you can also, have a service page, right? But the main thing here is classification is not as important as long as you know what type of page you're creating, right? So that's why I say like this template or this framework that we are using within the agency always changes. And the reason why is because there's better ways to do things that make sense to you, right? So if I were to do for another, let's say, for example, if I change this keyword now to best Zumba classes, okay? And this is a good example to show you. So you can see I'm going to skip all of this, and you can see 1, 2, 3. Now when I open up the first 3, it's going to show me this is a blog post, right? Which is what we seen earlier. And then we have this. So this is the exact thing that I mentioned earlier on, like what does this page belongs to, right? Because this is a kind of like a landing page, but because they are not, it's kind of like an Airbnb for Zumba classes, right? So what does this fall under? So you can put it as like, for example, under like this is a service category, right? For example, okay. And if you're seeing a lot of these, then it could be a service category page, right? And yeah, so this is another blog post. So if I just look at, the overall results, it's showing me a lot of blog posts, right? 10 best Zumba classes, online Zumba classes, 10 best, right? So if I'm going after this keyword, it will be a blog post. Okay, so hopefully that allows you to know what type of page you should be creating if you want to go after your target keyword. So after you've decided what type of page you should be creating, the next thing that you want to do is you want to think about what type of angle you should be creating, right? So the content type, should it be a guide? Should it be a roundup? Should it be a graphic? Should it be, like a template? Should it be a tool or tutorial? So again, like I mentioned earlier, this is fixed by how we do things and how we classify certain angles of pages, right? You would say that, a lot of times you would say that expert guide is the same as tutorial, right? And also like expert guide can also be the same as a resource, right? But as long as you know what type of angle you should be creating, that's perfectly fine of how you want to name them. You can change the namings as you want, right? But this shows you what kind of angle you should be creating. So if I were to be going after, again, this keyword, Zumba classes, okay? And I'm going to just open up the first few, right? So this is already telling me that this is kind of like a service page. Okay, so within the service page, if let's say, right, I can put it under sales, right? This is a sales page, right? We're trying to sell something here. Okay, or if it's not here, all right, for example, if it's not here, you can put it under a service landing page, for example. Okay, or the angle can be, depending on what you want, but I put it under as sales because this is kind of like a sales page. Okay, so if we change the keyword to something like best Zumba classes, then it will be like, 10 best, 10 best, 10 best. So this is kind of like a roundup or a list, right? So your content angle or your content type will be kind of like a list, or it can be like a roundup, for example. The type of roundup, if you want to go into the details, you can even see like, if this is an expert roundup, like it's a roundup by experts, or if it's a curated roundup where you're just rounding up the all of the best, right? But end of the day, it's a roundup. So you can just select roundups, right? So it doesn't really matter the kind of like the naming convention goes, but as long as you know what angle it's used for this keyword, I think you're safe, you're good to go, right? So let me see if I can show another example. Let's say, for example, if it's Zumba workout. Okay. So Zumba workouts, you can see now this is something new, and this is a perfect example, right? We have not seen this before, right? But you can see this is a new kind of like a SERP feature, right? And just as I was recording this, I've never seen this before, and now it's showing up, right? So if it's Zumba workout, I'm going to, now this falls under the SERP opportunity, right? But I will I'll touch on this later. But if this is Zumba workouts, the first media type I'll be creating, it's not going to be written. It's going to be videos. You can see over here clearly, right? And then you can see like this is 7 best, and then it's a very, very big mixture of videos. And then this is obviously a blog post, right? Just by looking at the title, you can see, right? This is a blog post. And then the blog post is what kind of angle is this? This is kind of like an expert guide, right? A health and fitness guide. And then this is a Zumba list. And so this is a mixture of both. So when you see a mixture of both, like a lot of stuff is going on here, right? When you see a mixture of both, usually what I like to do is I like to see what is the media type that's showing up most often, right? So for example, I'm going to be creating a video for this for sure, right? But imagine videos is not showing up here. It's written, right? So if this is the case, this is a class. This is a 7 best workout videos. This is more like a, what you call it? A list. And then this is a information type. And then this is a Pinterest, right? So if you see a mixture of both, what you can do is you can then basically select one that best suits your business. Right? So in this case, if I'm promoting Zumba classes, I want to have a Zumba landing page here, okay? Because it's telling me that, for this, users don't even know what they want, right? Or at least it's not dominating in terms of what they majority of users what they prefer, right? So I would have a Zumba workout landing page, and then on that Zumba landing page, I want to have the benefits, and ideally, I want to have a video there. Okay, but that's what you can do based off on the keyword. And again, this tells you what users prefer when they search for that particular keyword. A lot of times you're going to see very, very obvious ones. Some of the time you're going to see things like that, where it's a mixture that, is confusing. And the reason why it's confusing is because Google doesn't know what users want. And most of the time it's because users doesn't know what they want, right? So hopefully you understand the content type here. And again, remember that this is not the only type of content. This is how we classify things. This may not be how you classify things. As long as it makes sense to you, as long as you understand what type of content angle you should be creating, it works. All right, moving down to SERP opportunities. So we use SERP opportunities as a way for us to, kind of hack our rankings, right? And what do we mean by SERP opportunities? SERP opportunities are basically when you search for a keyword, we want to see if there's anything that is appearing on the first page that is immediately occupying a larger real estate. Okay, this could be a feature snippet, this could be a local pack, this could be videos, reviews or images, or if it's mixed. Okay, so what do I mean? So early on, you see over here, this is a feature snippet, right? This is new actually, this is very new, right? So you can see this keyword is showing up, is occupying a real estate, right? All these are occupying real estates, right? Zumba Go toning, blah, 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 right? So if I were to be ranking for this keyword, okay, I want to make sure that within the piece of content that I'm creating, I want to have a particular section that allows me to compete for this real estate here. Okay, so if this is showing up, and again, this is new. And the reason why, like I mentioned earlier, this is the work in progress, like it always changes, right? This framework always changes, is because you do not know what you will see, right? This is what I'm looking at right now that is completely new, like 1 minute ago, like 5 minutes ago, right? So I do not know what to call this, right? I can call this from sources across the web, right? I can put this under from sources across the web, right? But basically any type of SERP opportunity, I want to record it down here because I want to be able to have a chance to have my website showing up for this results, right? Obviously, this is very new because I've literally not seen this before, but you want to be able to record this down so that you can optimize for it in the future. Okay. And I'm guessing most of this is probably the same way of how you do it for a regular featured snippet. So I'm going to show you some of the most common ones. If you search for, let's say, Zumba classes, okay, immediately you can see this here. Okay, you can see this is occupying a real estate, right? Google is showing you results immediately, right? And this is what we call a feature snippet. So in this case, I'm going to record this down as a feature snippet, right? So record this down because it means to say this keyword has a feature snippet, and it means that if you're going after this keyword, you ideally want to show up here as well. Okay, local pack, it's, let's say, Zumba companies, right? This is going to be a very obvious one, but this is a local pack, for example. Okay, and then videos, like I mentioned earlier, reviews. Sometimes you'll see reviews, but again, just like how all the previous columns are, this is catered to yours, right? Most of the time, 80% of the time, you're just going to find feature snippet opportunities, right? So record this down if they have feature snippet or not, because within the piece of content, you want to be able to optimize and go after the feature snippet if your keyword is showing up for that feature snippet. So hopefully that makes sense, okay? Some of the most common ones are, for example, what is Zumba? Okay, so this doesn't have Zumba benefits, right? So you can see over here, this is a feature snippet as well. Google is showing you the results straight away without having you to click into the page, right? So that's what we like to optimize for. And usually it works really well. Like we drive a lot of traffic from like feature snippets. All right. So next thing is going to be awareness level. So awareness level is we want to, as much as we can, try to understand our audience more, right? For this piece of content that we're creating for that keyword. And awareness level allows you to, have a better messaging in terms of converting them, right? Irregardless of whether, what type of business you are, you always want to make sure that your content can convert your customers or do something at the end of the day, because you don't just want to drive in traffic, right? You want to have that traffic do something for you. So that's where the awareness level comes in, and that's how we use it in the agency. So if you struggle to find some kind of keywords, they usually, if you see that it's very difficult for you to map it to an awareness level, you can leave it as blank, right? But if you can, as much as you can, try to map it to an awareness level. So there are multiple different awareness level. The first thing is they are problem aware. So usually when an audience is problem aware, they know the problems and pain points they have, right? And what they need to know is they need to know that solutions like yours exist, and how you can sell them is to show them that you understand their pain, you understand where they are coming from, right? So if you look at Zumba classes, okay, I'm just going to go through the different awareness level first. So the second level is they are at the solution aware stage, where they know solution like yours exists. They need to know how your solution solve their pain, and you can convert them by showing them how your solution works. The next one will be product aware. So they know how your solution works. They need to know why your solution is the best, and you need to sell them by, proving that you are the best solution. Okay, and last but not least is most aware. The audience knows your solution is the best. They just need to know whether if there's any discounts or deals, and you can convert them by selling them a deal, right? So I'm going to bring you to kind of like the using fitness as an example, using Zumba classes. Problem aware will be people that, they are feeling sluggish, right? They are feeling sluggish and they don't know why they are feeling it this way, right? They are going into Google and they are typing in like, why do I feel sluggish all the time, right? Or why do I pant? Why do I feel so lethargic most of the time? So these are people that they know the problems and pains they have, right? So you need to show them that there's a solution towards that problem, right? So these are keywords probably towards like, why am I breathing so hard after climbing stairs, for example? Okay. The next stage should be solution aware. Now they know the solution. The solution is for them to exercise, right? The solution to, have to not pant after, walking up 2 flights of stairs, it's to exercise, right? It's to keep fit. So this is where they are at the solution aware stage, where they know that solutions like yours exist. They need to know how your solutions solve their pain, right? For example, if you are in the Zumba workout space, the solution will be to get them to, work out, right? And you need to let them know why Zumba is the preferred choice of working out. So you need to sell them how Zumba. I have never attended a Zumba class before, but you need to show them like how Zumba incorporates dance and how they can benefit from it, right? So that's how to sell them if they are at the solution aware stage. And then product aware. So product aware, they already know that Zumba workouts are the best kind of workouts for them to be healthy so that they will not pant after running up 2 flights of stairs. They know that already. So if your customers or if the audience that you're trying to target is product aware, now you need to sell them why your Zumba workouts are the best, right? So you can let them know that your Zumba workouts consist of different kind of musics. Your Zumba workouts have some kind of, structure. Your Zumba workouts have instructors that have in the space for like 10 over years. They know exactly what they're doing and they can make the things fun, right? So this is where the audience are at the product aware stage. You need to prove to them that yours is the best Zumba workouts there is. Okay. And then finally, most aware. Most aware is where the customer already know that your Zumba workout is the best. They just need to know whether do you have any discounts or offer. So this is very straightforward, right? This is where people already know that ABC Zumba workouts are the best, right? And they are searching for ABC Zumba workouts. You need to sell them, we're having a discount. We're having a buy 3, get 1 free class, right? So this is where the awareness level comes in. So if you look at your keyword, you need to somehow be able to map it to an awareness level, because within the content, this is where you can basically sell them or convert them to taking an action, right? Because you don't just want to bring traffic in. You want to be able to use that traffic for something, right? Either converting a sales, either getting them to sign up for something, right? So if somebody is typing in Zumba classes, highly likely they are at a product or at a solution aware stage, right? I would say that they are at a product level stage because they already know that they are already searching for Zumba, right? They already know, they already want to work out, right? So the last thing that you want to do is you want to mention to them the benefits of working out. Because when somebody is searching for Zumba classes or Zumba workouts, you don't have to within your content have like the benefits of working out, because they already are searching for a workout, right? So it's redundant to have that in there. Okay, so what you do on that piece of content is at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that your content proves that your Zumba workouts are the best options for them, right? And if you look at, let's say those who are doing it correctly, if you look at what they're trying to do, right? They are trying to sell them why it works, right? How it works, who is it perfect for, right? Like the different kinds of unique selling points, right? Strengthen and tone your leg glutes, right? So this is catered for, to target exactly people who are at the product aware stage, right? They are trying to show them why theirs is the best option, right? Because they have Zumba for to tone legs and glutes, to tone and define muscles and things like that. So when you are ranking for a certain keyword, you want to make sure that you're mapping the awareness level. So when you're producing that kind of content, you know where your audience are and you know the best way to sell them. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So that is the awareness level. Some of the times it's going to be on some rare occasions, it's difficult to map the awareness level. And for those cases, you can choose not to have it. But most of the time, you should be able to map it to an awareness level. Okay. Now, next thing is the people also ask section. Now, people also ask is basically, what are people asking, right? So very straightforward. If you type in this keyword and you scroll down here, this is what users are most curious about based off of what Google is showing you. So when people are typing in Zumba classes, they are asking questions also at the same time, like, are Zumba classes good for losing weight? Can you do Zumba with bad knees? Are Zumba classes a good workout? Can you do Zumba as a beginner? So you want to record all this down And you want to make sure that you are answering these important questions within the piece of content. Okay, because these are the most commonly asked questions when people are searching for Zumba classes. Okay, you want to insert this somewhere within. Okay, so that is, ideally where you have your FAQ section at the end of the content. Okay, so this is for people also ask. Very straightforward. Google suggestion is basically what your audience is interested in. So what are Google suggestions? So when you go into Google and when you type it in here, okay, these are all the suggestions that is appearing, right? So this gives you a rough idea of, okay, what else is your users interested in when they are searching for Zumba classes. So sometimes it will be helpful, sometimes it will not be. So for example, if I'm running a Zumba class company, right? I'm looking at Zumba class Pasir Ris, Yishun, Jurong West. So all these are different locations, right? And if I'm opening a online, let's say if I'm catering online Zumba classes, right? I definitely want to go after these locations, right? It's an indication to me that when people are searching for Zumba classes, they are interested to find out if they have Zumba classes nearby them, right? Because you can see from the first get-go, like Zumba classes near me. Okay, so this is an indication to me that people want to, do Zumba classes near them, right? And also what I'm looking at here is there's Zumba classes for beginners, right? So when I have all this information, it's giving me more understanding about what users are looking for when they are typing in this keyword. So it's kind of like psychology. Actually, it's a lot about searchers psychology, if that makes sense, right? It's understanding what users are really searching for. You are basically going into the minds of somebody in front of their computer searching for this particular keyword and kind of matching exactly what they are looking for, right? So the better you can get that right, the better your content will do, right? So you can see people are interested to, people are interested in Zumba classes near them. So in this case, what I can do, it's based off on this, I can also, within that piece of content, let them know that I have Zumba classes in different, if let's say you do have physical locations, you can put that within your piece of content as well, right? Or if you're offering online, right, you can let them know that, you can do this Zumba class from anywhere, okay? Because this is what users are interested in. So this is where Google suggestions come into play. It's let you know what else your audience is interested in, okay? And then last but not least is the product and service-led angle. Okay, how does this come into play? You need to also at the same time be able to insert a product or service-led angle so that your piece of content can convert, right? It doesn't matter what angle you are positioning it at, but you want to, again, you don't just want to drive traffic in. Driving traffic in is the easy thing to do, right? It's easy to drive traffic in using SEO if you know what you're doing. The trick is to convert those traffic into paying customers, right? And that's where we have in our process a product or service-led angle. And essentially what we are trying to do is we're trying to answer these 4 questions. How can my product or service solve this question? Okay, how can my product or service help achieve this goal? How can my product or service illustrate this point? Or how can my product or service make this easier, faster, and more effective? Okay, you do not need to have these questions in your content. Like you do not need to have this specific question, but this is a framework to our writers or to our team who is producing this piece of content to constantly have this question within the content, right? Like for example, in this case, Zumba, right? How can my Zumba class help achieve this goal? Right, of let's say losing weight, okay? And usually you'll find that with product pages, it's going to be easier, right? Because you just have to sell them the benefits, the unique selling points of your Zumba classes, whether if you have any discounts or not, right? It's a very, very clear-cut way. But if you have a blog post, right? If you're writing a blog post of the 10 best Zumba classes, then the product and service-led angle will be very, very, very useful. Because if you're writing a blog post, you need to ask yourself this question: how can my Zumba class help make this easier, more faster, and more effective, right? And then on your blog post, you can say, your Zumba classes are why your Zumba classes are the best within a blog post. And that will help sell your products or services, right? You don't have to answer all of this. Usually for what we do in our agency, we just pick one answer. We just pick one question and we make sure that that piece of content or the piece of content that we're creating has the direction to answer this one question, right? And we just basically pick one question to answer. Okay. So this is a product and service led angle. And a lot of times, you can see like this is even before writing the content, right? This is the research that goes into what, basically trying to find out exactly what the users want, right? Because if you can map that, then the piece of content that you'll be creating will be highly, highly valuable because that's what users want, right? And then finally, you can go in and create your topic. Okay, you can see we do all of this research to make sure that our search intent is on point. Okay, and we are catering, like we are making the best type of content we can. And again, like I always say, nothing is 100%. Okay, nothing is 100% because you cannot 100% know what a person wants. Okay, because especially on Google, okay, on Google, when somebody is searching for a keyword, it's not one person, it's a group of people, and you cannot 100% know exactly what every single one of them is thinking about. Okay, but this gives you a higher probability of making sure that your content gets traffic, your content converts well, and your content do well on your on Google, right? Eventually, they are having a business impact. And then before you come out with a topic, right? And as long as you have all of this here, coming out with a topic should not be that difficult, because like I mentioned, by this stage you will already have looked at your competitors, topics, right? So you can go over here, okay, and look for Zumba classes, for example. Okay, and most of the time if you see like product pages or landing pages, the topics will be more suitable for blog posts, right? If you are looking at blog posts, okay, Zumba workouts or best Zumba classes. Okay, if you're looking at blog posts, right, it's going to be easier for blog posts for you to come out with a topic because you can see what topics have been working well. 7 best dance studios, the 10 best to sweat it out, right? So you can take inspirations from all this from your topic, but essentially you should be able to know what your topic is already. Okay, because you will know what sticks, what your users want. So hopefully hopefully you find something that is useful for this. If you need help with this, just feel free to leave a comment below. I'll try my best to answer them. And if you like any kind of, if you find that this is valuable, please do share it with somebody that you know that is producing content is just not working well for them. You want to share this with them because, help somebody out, right? And if you need help with this, just contact our agency. We have this exact process within our agency. This is the exact thing that we do for all our clients, right? So with that being said, that's all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you find value in it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.